Hello everyone, welcome back again. So the today's concept I'm going to take is classification of budgets, one of the part of the budgetary control aspects. So this is again we call it as a types of budget also, in other words, and as well as classification of budget. The budgets has been classified into the four different categories, among them in detail based on the time, based on the function, based on the nature of activity and basis of a flexibility. So classification on the basis of time, we do prepare three different types of budget: long term budget, short term budget, current budget. So whereas long term budget is it is prepared on the basis of long term forecast, keeping the long period in the mind and keeping long term planning in the mind, we do prepare the long term budgets, and it is varies from 5 to 10 years. These budgets are mostly prepared in terms of physical quantities. And whereas short term budget, vice versa, it is prepared keeping the 1 or 2 3 years in the mind, considering the monetary aspects which are small in nature. We do prepare and make a plan of a budget with respect to a business concern. And another is current budget, which is generally for a month or only for a few weeks. We do prepare budget of small budget, a very short period, keeping in the mind we do prepare budgets here with respect to the monetary aspects of a business concern. And next is about classification on the basis of function. So based on the functions, various activities which are going to coordinate and then consolidate to know the effect of their all the transactions on the business concern. Keeping all such things in the mind, we do prepare three different budgets based on the function, that is activities related to the organization. Among the basis of function, there are three different budget: master budget, financial budget and operating budget. Master budget is it is related to the sales, production, cost, profit and profit planning, and the master is used to coordinate the activities of various functional departments and also to help as a control device. So this is the reason the master budget is a summary of all the information which regarding sales and production. Keeping all things in the mind of total plans, we prepare a master budget. And then about the financial budget. The financial budget, it is concerned related to the cash receipts and cash payments, and also the working capital, capital expenditure, financial position and results of business operations with respect to monetary aspects. All such things, is going to be the summary in the financial budget. Whereas the financial budget is purely based on the financial aspects, all the budget related to the financial aspects are going to be supported. Means whatever the financial statement we prepare, that is going to helpful for the financial budget. And next is about operating budget, the functional budgets also we call, in other words. And here the operations budget, sales, production budget, production cost budget, purchase budget, raw material budget, labor budget, plant budget, manufacturing expenses and administration selling expenses. So with respect to all these functional activities separately also, or what we call, in other words, individually also, the budget is going to be prepared. Sales budget speaks about the budgeted sales, actual sales and what are going to be expected for the future. Similarly with the production and purchase, production cost, raw material also, we do prepare some estimation, and later on we have some actuals definitely, and we do compare the budgeted aspects with the current aspects, that means actual aspects. And keeping that actual information in the mind, we are going to make a test here whether we have reached to the estimated aspects. Later on we make some future estimation also, which is called as a budgeted for the future aspects. So these are what we call the operating or functional budgets. And keeping all these, we have 9 different types of budget under operating functions, which comes under the classification based on the function. And the first one is about the sales budget, which we have a problem on this, and we have taken up in the last class also, the sales budget. And then we have straight away the next budget, which is called as a nature of activity, classification on the basis of nature of activity. Here based on the activity we make budget here. Capital expenditure, that is whatever the capital of or sources of capital which has been raised by the organization from various sources, and that budget also we do make in the classification here. Operating revenue budget also speaks about the what is the revenue which is going to be generated by the various activities. So this classification is purely based on the nature of capital and as well as the revenue, which is we are going to consider is about. And the next end is about fixed and what is that flexible budget, which is going to be most important here. The fixed budget is also one of the classified activity under nature. And what is the fixed budget? As the name itself says, this is again designed to remain unchanged aspects here. So many of the costs are going to be maintained at fixed level, even though the certain costs are not going to get variation due to any other activities, which is going to be constant in nature. So fixed budget is also prepared keeping one level of activity, so that we can consider what are the those costs which are going to be fixed in nature, how it is going to affect with the other aspects. So why we do prepare a fixed budget, a standard budget, so that we can have a margin to not to cross our cost level. So this is again one of the fixed budget part of the nature of activity. And next is about the very important one is flexible budget. This flexible budget also we have the problems on this. Well, a flexible budget is designed to change the level of activity. So whenever the cost gets variated, the semi-fixed and variable cost gets change related to the level of activity. Level of activity means, for an example, if the organization have a capacity of the production of 40%, and then you have to make some estimation if it is increases to 50, if it is increases to 60, simultaneously 80, 90. So what is the cost level which is going to change, and as well as whether any sales gets affected by that, and what is the profitability of the organization or loss situation or financial position of the organization. So we have considering here fixed, semi-fixed and variable cost, which are going to influence very highly on the level of activity. So while preparing the flexible budget, we keep all the activities in the mind, and we estimate the different types of cost which are going to affect on the different level of activity. So this is what we suggest usually to the business concerned to prepare the flexible budget related to the various cases. So why the budget is, this flexible budget is also called as a dynamic budget or expenses control budget here. So these 3 points which are going to be very important here is, this flexible budget is purely based on the level of activity, that to different level of activity, and it is going to change from year to year. So based on the demand on the product, or seasonal products due to the seasonal product, or any changes in the market conditions, this budget is going to be helpful to give certain sort of information to the organization to prepare about a budget or to estimate about a cost due to various changes in the organization. And another is when the business concern suffers from any financial matters, or due to shortage of funds, shortage of materials, or high wastage of expenses, or any high level of other capacity of expenses which are going to influence on such circumstances, also this flexible budget will helps to business concern to plan about the cost or financial aspects of the organization. And whereas the business enterprise is a new one, on such cases also to predict about the future aspects also we do prepare a flexible budget. So this is about the flexible budget, and the one of the very important part of the nature of activity which has been classified. Thank you.